بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Okay, we are back again inshallah. Let's just go through a rundown of Hajj practices inshallah, and we will start off with what we do from here. Obviously we've already talked about the spiritual aspects. Let's talk about the practical aspects now inshallah. Hajj requires that you wear your clothing, which has now come to be known as the ihram clothing. Hajj requires that you wear two pieces of white clothing for the men, and for women anything that does not obviously show their body, that is opaque, that does not describe her parts of body, anything that is decent, and preferably a color that is not colorful and will attract the eye. And Hajj requires that you wear these pieces of clothing. So as far as women are concerned, then they wear stitched clothing. As far as men are concerned, then they wear unstitched clothing, clothing that is not stitched. By stitched clothing, we mean clothing that describes a part of your body. It is, what was the word that we used, brothers? Shaped. Yes, it is not shaped clothing. So even if you have a thobe like this, and you were to wrap it around your body as like a towel, that would be fine as well. That just illustrates to you how people don't understand what stitched means. Stitched means shaped, meaning that you wear the clothing, even if it is shaped, but that you wear it in a shaped fashion, that you wear the thobe in this manner with your hands in your pockets, etc. This is not what it means. This is not the what stitched clothing means. Rather, stitched or shaped, meaning that you actually don't wear it, that you don't wear it in the fashion in which it is, which actually describes parts of your body. It is for this reason why if you have a thobe and you don't even have enough money to, for example, even buy a piece of chadar, a sheet, a white sheet, whatever, then you can, even if you take your thobe, for example, you can wrap that around your body, just to show you the fiqh of clothing. Obviously you need two, one for the top and one for the bottom. It doesn't have to be white, but the best color is white, and it can be any other color as well. But my advice to you obviously is to make it white. Why? Because if you don't wear white, then you're going to be beaten to death. People are going to think, oh my God, this guy has a black ihram. And this they think, you see, people think that the clothing itself is the ihram, and this is incorrect. It is the intention, as we will come to very, very soon. The clothing is a clothing, it is not the ihram itself. And so therefore, what color should it be? The best is white. Why? Because as Rasulullah said, in khiyara thiyabikum al-biyad, as he said, the best of your clothing is the white ones. So wear the white ones. فَكَفِّنُوا فِيهَا مَوْتَاكُمْ أَلْبِسُوا فِي أَحْيَاكُمْ وَكَفِّنُوا فِيهَا مَوْتَاكُمْ, he said. So let the people who are alive wear it, and let the people who die be shrouded in it, meaning in white clothing. So it doesn't have to be thick, this chadar. It doesn't have to be thin. It is whatever that you use to cover your body. Of course, making sure that it's opaque, so you cannot see the color of your skin through it. And make sure that it is big enough to wrap around your body. You don't wear any undergarments with it. So no undergarments are to be worn, whether it be a t-shirt or anything else. As for sisters, of course, that is not even applicable to them, because for them, whatever normal clothing that they wear is fine as well. There is no headgear, so no caps to be worn. And for sisters, of course, nothing for their face. So therefore, if the sisters wear a niqab, they are not to wear the niqab. And if they wear gloves, they are not to wear gloves. And what do we say therefore? How is she therefore to cover her face when men are around? We say that she, as many of the people do, she actually puts a piece of cloth in her head, on top of her head, and then ties her top, what do you call that? Her top hijab, or her top hijab over it, meaning so that it actually holds that piece of cloth in place. With the friction, it actually holds the piece of cloth in place. She doesn't stitch it in, because you don't stitch that in, but you put that piece of clothing, because it falls over your face like that, and then you tie the top towel of the hijab over your head in this manner. And so whenever the men are not around, you lift it up like that. Whenever the men are there, you let it fall. Okay, this is the way it's done. Does it have to be, is there a problem if it actually touches your face? No, this is not a problem, inshallah, according to the vast majority of the ulama. And even if the cloth, when it's over your face, if it touches your face, then that is also still fine, inshallah ta'ala. And of course, whenever the men are not around, you lift it up, and whenever the men are there or have a possibility of seeing you, then you put it down. And as for your hands, then you don't wear gloves. However, of course, because you're wearing a big hijab, you can cover your hands through that when the men are there. And of course, when the men are not there, then you can show your hands up to your wrists. Okay? Okay, let's continue. This is as far as the clothing is concerned. Also make sure, brothers and sisters in Islam, that you don't wash your ihram with perfumed material. So you don't wash your ihram with, for example, perfume Tide and all of that. You have Tide here in this country. Yes, don't wash your clothes with these perfumed mixes and all that, washing detergents. Rather, wash them, if you have to, wash them with a detergent that doesn't have any perfume. So there is no perfume on the clothing to begin with, right? The way you start off wearing your ihram is for example, first of all, you have a shower. So when you're having a shower, you will have cut your nails, you will have trimmed your mustache, and you will have, for example, removed the hair from your armpits and from your private parts. So you are clean and you're prepared for Umrah. You can use underarm sprays, you can use, what do you call those, deodorants, and you can use antiperspirants as well. That is fine, but try and make sure, because if you won't be using them throughout Hajj, but because you was just preparing for Hajj, now you can put them for now. That is fine. Also, it is from the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to put a lot of perfume, to put copious amounts of perfume, to make you smell like a perfume box, to make yourself smell like a perfume store. In fact, Aisha radiallahu anha, she was crying one day and she was saying, كَأَنِّي أَنظُرُ إِلَى وَبِيسِ الطِّيبِ فِي مَفْرَقِ شَعْرِ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ. It is as if I'm looking at the glistening of the perfume in the partings of the hair of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In fact, it has been reported that they used to put copious amounts of perfume on their body, on Rasul's body, until Ibn Hajar rahimahullah mentions in Fathul Bari that there is no israf fi tib, that there is no extravagance as far as perfume is concerned. Meaning that as far as perfume is concerned, then you can put copious amounts. This is from the guidance of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Of course, this is for men. As far as women, then it has also been reported that women put perfume for ihram. For ihram, okay? If it is not for ihram, then other than ihram purposes, it is haram. But as far as ihram is concerned, then she may put perfume. Of course, my advice is to put only very minor amounts, because it has not been reported that the women would ever put copious amounts. They would only put minor amounts of perfume, that which is just enough for them, and that which would not cause fitna to men. If it causes fitna to men, my advice is then please stay away from it. If it will not cause fitna, if it's a small amount of perfume, whatever, even underarm spray, etc., that has a little bit of perfume in it, then that is fine. And as I said, it is sunnah that as far as Hajj, as far as ihram is concerned, the men and the women would also put perfume. Okay? And of course, as we know, in normal states, in normal situations, then the women must never put perfume on their body when they're going out. True or not? However, an ihram is an exception to this rule. Okay, so we continue on. So people have now had their shower and they have prepared themselves and they have made wudu, and now they are ready to do, now they are in their state, now they're ready for their ihram. When they reach the miqat, or let's say you are in the plane and you are now prepared. When you're on the plane and now you are passing over the miqat, and as we know, there are 5 miqats that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has put for the people of this earth. The 5 are, who knows what the 5 miqat are? Does anyone know? Brother, do you know? Do you know, Akhi? Dhul Hulayfa. Okay, Dhul Hulayfa is for who? For people, no, for people of Medina. Now, Dhul Hulayfa is for the people of Medina. Then what else? Juhfa is for the people of Sham. So Dhul Hulayfa is 405 kilometers away from Medina. Juhfa is 275 kilometers away from Dhul Hulayfa is 405 kilometers away from Makkah. Juhfa is 275 kilometers away from Makkah. Juhfa is for which people? For people of Sham. Were the Muslims in Sham at that time when Rasulullah said this hadith? No. So this hadith therefore is a proof that Muslims will be in Sham. This is a prediction as well, mashallah. Beautiful, isn't it? And so give me something else. What else, brother? Do you remember? Come on, give me one more. What is the miqat for people of Yemen? Yalamlam. That's right. Yalamlam. Yalamlam is the miqat for the people of Yemen. It is only 75 kilometers away from Makkah. What is the miqat for the people of Iraq? Dhatu irqin. That irq is the miqat for the people of Iraq. It is about as well 275 kilometers away from Makkah. Then what is the miqat for the people of Hijaz? Aywa Rahim. What is the miqat for the people of Hijaz? We have That Irq, we have Juhfa, we have Yalamlam, we have Dhul Hulayfa, and then we have Qarn Manazil. Qarn Manazil is the miqat for the people of Hijaz. And Rasulullah said in the hadith, and this is also about approximately 200 kilometers away from Makkah. Rasulullah said in the authentic hadith in Bukhari, Hunna lahunna وَلِمَنْ أَتَى عَلَيْهِنَّ مِنْ غَيْرِ أَهْلِهِنَّ لِمَنْ أَرَادَ الْحَجَّ وَالْعُمْرَةِ. Meaning that they are for them, meaning they are for the people that I have made for. And they are also for those people who pass by them, other than the people of who have made this miqat for, such as us, for example. What is the miqat for people in England? It is for whichever miqat we pass over. Liman arad al-hajj wal-umrah, whoever intends hajj wal-umrah. Meaning that if you have in your heart the intention to ever perform hajj wal-umrah, you cannot pass by Makkah or Medina. You cannot pass by a miqat except that you must have ihram from it. So let's say, let me give you this example. You are in Medina. Is Medina outside the miqat or not? Answer the question. Yes, it is. And you want to go to Makkah, but then before that you want to go to where? You want to go Jeddah. You want to spend a couple of days in Jeddah, right, Rahim? You want to spend a couple of days in Jeddah. Is Jeddah inside the miqat or not? No. Yes or no? Yes, Jeddah is inside the miqat. Okay? And then you go to Makkah. So you are going to spend 7 days in Jeddah for, whatever, you have business to do. Then after that you're going to go to Makkah. Should you therefore make your ihram from Jeddah or not? From the miqat, or where do you make it from? No, you make it from the miqat, because it is impossible. It is not permissible for you to pass by. You already had the intention. You'll be doing Hajj after 7 days. So even though you're going to Jeddah, you must go with the ihram. Unless, of course, you have the intention that after being in Jeddah for a couple of days, you will go outside. You will go out of the miqat and then come back again. Okay? Unless if you don't have this, then you must have ihram from the beginning. True or not, guys? And then you go to Makkah and you stay there for your Hajj. Okay, so ihram needs to be. So let's go through what ihram means. Ihram in Islam, and this is the first pillar of Hajj, means that you enter into the state of ihram. And the way you enter into the state of ihram is you loudly say your intention. Is that you what? You loudly say your intention for the Hajj or the Umrah or the act that you're going to do. So you say labbaik Allahumma Hajj if you're going to be mufrid. Or you say labbaik Allahumma Hajj wa Umrah if you're going to be qarin. Or you say labbaik Allahumma Umrah if you're going to be mutamatti'. As we know, Hajj is of 3 types, and I will go through all of them very, very soon. So don't lose me, inshallah. But the miqat is the place in which you make your intention. So when you're in the plane and the pilot tells you now we're passing over the miqat, straight away say labbaik Allahumma Hajj or labbaik Allahumma Umrah or labbaik Allahumma Hajj wa Umrah, whatever is that type of Hajj that you're planning to do. And with that you will have started on your intention and started off for your you will have entered into ihram. Of course, by that time you must already be in the ihram clothes. You must already be in your ihram clothes. After you have entered into the state of ihram, 9 things become haram to you. What are they? How many are they? 9. Who remembers what these 9 things are? Whether you have done Hajj, tell me what these 9 things are. Start off with the first one.
Sexual intercourse.
No, don't, please. That's the easiest one. Please, let's start with the first one. The first is the hair. You cannot cut the hair. And then what else can't you cut? The nails. You can't trim the nails. You can't cut any of the nails. What else is it? Putting on perfume. You can't put on perfume, obviously. And then give me another one. What is it that you can't put on top of your head? You can't cover your head. And for the sisters, you can't cover the face. So that is 4. Let me deal with these 4 first, and then we'll move on to the next 5. So now people have time to think about what the rest 5 are. Jazakallah khair, mobiles off. Okay, the first one, and that is cutting the hair and cutting the nails. The first 2 are cutting the hair and cutting the nails. As far as cutting the hair and cutting the nails are concerned, then if you then you're not allowed to do that all the way up until the time in which you come out of your ihram, and we'll come to that very, very soon. You are not allowed to cut your hair and your nails. If you do that accidentally, then you're forgiven. If you do that intentionally, 3 hairs or more, or cut the same hair 3 times, or 3 nails or more, or you cut the same nail 3 times, then you must do one of 3 things. What must you do? One of 3 things. We will come to what these 3 things are, 1 minute. And perfume, if you put on perfume accidentally, you are forgiven. However, if you put on perfume intentionally, then you must do one of 3 things. This is the 3 things we'll talk about now. And also your face, and covering for the women, covering the face, and for the men as well, covering the face, and for men as well, on top of that, covering the head as well. If they do that intentionally with something that attaches to their heads, which is mulasiq, as we say in Arabic, which means that attaches to the head or attaches to the face, etc., etc., then there is one of 3 things, and we'll come to that, what these 3 things are, very, very soon. As far as perfume is concerned, then the hukum regarding perfume is that you don't use perfume in the way it is used. What do I mean by that? Bukhur. If people can please switch the mobiles off, that will be greatly appreciated. Bukhur, as far as bukhur is concerned, and what is bukhur? Bukhur is that wood. Bukhur, what is the way in which bukhur is used? You light the fire, you put the coal, and then you put the wood, and then you smell the smoke. So therefore, if you were to do that, then you have fidya. However, if you were to have the bukhur in your hands, there is no fidya. Do you understand that? Why? Because that type of perfume is used in that type of manner. Do you understand? Are you with me, Akhtar? No, you're not with me. We say that the perfume must be used, is haram to be used in the manner in which that perfume is used. So there are different sorts of perfumes. There's a perfume that is used, that you just apply to your body, or spray to your body, or you apply. And so that sort of perfume, if you do that by applying to your body or applying to your hands, then this is haram. There is that type of perfume which you don't apply to your body, but what you do is you put it in the fire, and then it blows up smoke, etc. And that is the smoke that fills the ground, etc. This type of so if you were to do that with the bukhur, then that would also obligate a fidya upon you. Also, for example, if you were to pass by a perfume shop, you must not go in there and smell. That is not allowed. Even to pass by a person who has bukhur and try to even smell there, or for example someone has perfume and you even try to smell it, even is haram and will obligate a fidya upon you. Remember, you are in a state of ihram. You are in a state of ihram, and it is very, very important. And be careful, because as you know, when you go down the toilets near the haram, the people are selling perfumes, and they will just be, everyone that comes down the elevator, they're just giving you a free taste, isn't it? They're giving you a free dip on your hands, and you must be careful. Remember that. You cannot put perfume on your body. If you of course forget, then you're forgiven. These 4 things that I mentioned, covering the head, putting perfume, cutting the nails, and cutting the hair. These 4 things, if you do forgetfully, you're forgiven. If you do them without knowing the hukum of it, you're also forgiven. But if you do them intentionally, then you have one of 3 things to do. What are these 3 things? Guys, forget hunting yet. 3 things. We have one of 3 things that you must do when you do them intentionally. What are they? The first is fasting. Qurbani, that is offering a sacrifice, a sheep in sacrifice, and that sheep must be is to be sacrificed in Makkah, not anywhere else. So you can't just say, okay, let me just give it to the tsunami relief and let them do the fidya over there. No. You must give it in Makkah. So it must be slaughtered in Makkah, as Allah says, hadiyan baligh al-Kaaba. This is a hadi that is in Kaaba, in the sacred precincts. So it must be slaughtered in the sacred precincts of Makkah. So you can either do that, and of course, and the meat distributed to either the poor people there, and if they have enough, then the poor people of the world. Okay, so this is the first thing that you can do. So you can make a choice between 3 things. The first thing is you either make a sacrifice. The second thing is, what is it, guys? Second thing is fasting. That you fast how many days? 3 days. Right, so you have a choice to either do the sacrifice, which will cost about £50, or you have a choice to feed 6 poor people, or you have a choice to fast 3 days. So if you do these 4 things that we mentioned again, and we mentioned again, Akhtar, what are they? Mention the 4 things. Don't look at your book. Mention the 4 things. Cutting the nails, and then cutting the hair, and then perfume, and then wearing the hat or covering the face, or for the women covering the face and the niqab, etc. Okay? If you were to do these 4 things intentionally, forgetfully, and not knowing the hukum, you're forgiven. But intentionally, then you are to do between one of these 3 things that we just mentioned, either to do a sacrifice, or to fast 3 days, or to feed 6 poor people about 3 kgs of dates. About 3 kgs, 2.4 kgs, which is the amount of 4 mud, which is 1 sa'. This is the amount of dates to be given to them, about approximately 2.4 kgs, as Ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah mentions in his Mumti', in Sharh al-Mumti', in Sharh al-Zad. Okay, we continue. These are the first 4 things. I would also like to mention something very important here. People make mistakes. That is, people wear face masks to protect themselves from the dust. This is haram, la yajuz. In ihram you cannot do that, because that is covering the face, whether it be for women or for a man. It is not permissible to put a face mask. Okay? As for covering the head, then you can put an umbrella. Why are we permitting an umbrella? Why are we permitting an umbrella but not a cap? Because an umbrella is not attached. Laysa bi mulasiq, it is not attached. Whereas the cap is mulasiq, it is attached. That is why, for example, you can also take shade under a tree, and you can also take shade under in a tent, etc., etc. All of this is allowed. Or also in the car, for example, because you have the roof covering you. Okay. This is as far as the first 4 things are concerned. Let's move on to the next 5 things. What are they? What is the next 5th thing? Come on, brother Imran. Brother, please. We will come to the sexual intercourse later on. People are preoccupied about this now. Okay, people are so worried. Allahumma musta'an, man. Okay, tfaddal. Hunting, exactly. The 5th one is hunting. Okay, I'm going through it systematically so we can talk about what you have to do if you end up doing it. Okay, what is the punishment if you end up falling into it? Alright, the next 5th thing is hunting, meaning that you should not hunt any animal that is hunted for food. Anything else, anything else that is hunted in order to protect yourself from the danger of the animal. Like, for example, if a scorpion was coming, or for example a snake was coming, and you were to hunt that thing down, or for example a bull was charging at you, or for example a lion was charging at you, and you were to kill it, then that is forgiven. You have no sin upon you, nothing upon you. But what we're talking about is for you physically going hunting, for you physically going to hunt wild animals, or that which is eaten for food, deer, etc., zebras, whatever, because they're all halal to eat. I don't want to give any more examples. And if you were to do that, or for example you were to kill them accidentally because of your bus ran over them, if for example, as we know, between Makkah and Medina are some sheep, some wild goats, etc. If your bus was to run over them, then all the people will be responsible, unless the driver is responsible. So all the people would have to join in to do the fidya. What is the fidya for killing a sheep? What is the fidya for killing going hunting or aiding in hunting? Even Rasulullah said even that you must not point to the hunting animal, telling the hunter to point. You must not even help him by carrying his bows. You must not even help him by even carrying spears for him. True, guys? So nothing of this must be done whilst you are in the state of ihram. What is the punishment for having killed a hunting animal? The punishment is that the people of knowledge must look at the animal that has been killed and find out and compare it to another animal that we offer in sacrifice. So for example, if we have killed a hyena, for example, or we have killed, for example, a wild goat, we say, okay, the equivalent of that is a sheep, for example. True or not? So we say, therefore, a sheep has to be offered in sacrifice. If we end up, for example, killing a wild zebra, for example, then we say the equivalent of that is that we have to offer a cow in sacrifice, for example. Okay? So we do that. So if you can't afford to offer that in sacrifice, you must feed the amount of people that can be fed from this animal, or you must fast the amount of days that you could have fed the number of people. So for example, with the cow, you could have fed 100 people. For example, that means that if you cannot afford to feed that 100 people with that cow, then you must fast 100 days. So regarding hunting, it is very, very tough. And alhamdulillah, I'm just mentioning this as a way of knowing and to know the fiqh of it, because you will never learn about this if you don't learn about it now. Okay, let's move on to something that is more pertinent to us, so more important to us, and that is, mashallah, what our brothers have been mentioning. All of the matters to do with women problems, women matters. Okay, the first of the women matters that we must stay away from is anything that leads on to sexual intercourse. Anything that leads on to sexual intercourse, whether that be touching and feeling or foreplay, or even if it be masturbation as well. Okay, even masturbation as well is included. So if someone does this, this is the sixth one. If someone does this, what is the hukum? We will come to that very, very soon. So therefore, what are the remaining four? Rahim, what are the remaining four? That is foreplay. Then we have sexual intercourse. Then what else is there?
Contracting a marriage.
Contracting a marriage. And what is the last thing? Contracting a marriage is, you use a different term for it, and that is to get married. And the last thing is a proposal for a marriage even. Okay, so these are the 9 things that are haram. So therefore, as far as marriage is concerned, you cannot propose, neither can you get married. So therefore, if you have proposed from before ihram, then you cannot say, okay, after our ihram we will get married, or the day of Arafat we'll have our wedding day, mashallah. You cannot do all of that. Okay, or if you see a woman on the plains of Arafat and you say, mashallah, we're righteous women, let me go and propose to her. No, you cannot do that. Okay, so these 2 things, if you propose to a woman whilst you're in ihram, remember we're talking about ihram, not hajj, we're talking about ihram, the state of ihram. If you do propose to a woman whilst you're in the state of ihram, then it is haram for you to get married to her. And if you do get married to her, then your nikah is batil, your nikah or your marriage is false. Okay or not? This is understood. Let's go to the next 2, and that is the last 2, which is the number 8 and number 9. That is anything that will lead on to Jazakallah khair. Can you keep it down please a little bit? The next 2 is anything that will lead on to sexual intercourse, and the last one is sexual intercourse itself. Anything that leads on to sexual intercourse, if you do it, such as for example touching your wife with pleasure, if you do it whilst you are in a state of ihram, then there is a slaughtering due upon you and nothing else. You cannot choose, no choice. Alright guys, no choice. The only thing that you can do is slaughter a sheep, and you must offer the sheep as well in Makkah and then feed the poor people. Alright guys, this is understood? Right. The last thing, and that is sexual intercourse. If you have sexual intercourse whilst you are still in ihram, doesn't matter in Makkah or Mina, wherever, or Arafat, wherever you are, if you have sexual intercourse whilst you are still in ihram, then your hajj is false. Your hajj is batil, and you must sacrifice a camel instead of a sheep. You must sacrifice a camel, and you must still continue on finish your hajj, and you and your wife should continue on finish off your hajj, this hajj which is not acceptable from you, and come back the next year. You must come back the next year and perform the hajj again. Okay, this is the punishment for having rafath, and Allah has said already, فَمَنْ فَرَضَ فِيهِنَّ الْحَجَّ فَلَا رَفَثَ وَلَا فُسُوقَ وَلَا جِدَالَ فِي الْحَجِّ. They let him not do rafath in hajj.